So now it is time for the top 5 best films of January 2020. Now, not that many films that really came out in the first month of this year, but there were some good ones over some bad ones. And let me start off with number 5, being the rhythm section. This is a movie, like I said, it was slow paced, didn't have too much action, but the trailer gave what was to expect from this movie, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the action, the acting, and just the story and the emotion that it invoked and everything about it. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't one of the best films yet so far this year, but it was good enough to make it on this list. Now at number 4, Gretel and Hansel, which was a movie that was flipped on its ear as compared to the fairy tale story Hansel and Gretel, and it was a movie that's similar to an A24 type film. It was more artsy fartsy, but it did everything right. It didn't have crazy jump scares or anything like that. It was a movie that was a slow burn, but at the same time it still had legitimate creepiness, and it had like a story that it was like picking apart, and it did it well. And great acting, performances through everybody except for like the little boy, but it was good enough to make it on this list. So taking the number 3 spot is Underwater, a movie that had the sexy Kristen Stewart up in there, and it basically preyed on my fears as far as like being underwater, out of my element, which it did the creepiness about it as far as the scares and just the great use of CG and just an overall story about just this underground facility that's being imploded, and these people, they have to get out of there before everything goes to hell, as well as mysterious monsters hunting them down as they try to make it from one place to the next. It did it well enough to make it on this list. So at number 2 is The Gentleman, a movie that had great acting, a great story, just great action, had great editing, and just how it was done, great direction, just all around, just great. I really enjoyed it. It was a movie that was well worth my time because I used Stubbs A-List to go see it, but it was a movie well worth my time and definitely worth checking out whenever you get a chance if you have not seen it. And at number 1 is Bad Boys for Life, a movie that I had high expectations for, and they vastly exceeded it. Great performances with Martin and Will, and just their camaraderie, their connection and chemistry with the characters, as well as you could tell that they had great chemistry on set. The story worked, the villains worked, the action worked, and it was a crazy ass, good ass time in the theater, and I enjoyed myself.